Hi, Celso from Guarau.ca here, and today I want to talk about the design and creation process of the main creature for my story, the Muse. I was a bit reluctant to record this video because it does contain some major spoilers, but at the same time I don't have that many subscribers. And I had a little bit of a mindset shift. I stopped seeing people watching this channel as consumers, and I start seeing you guys more like a focus group that's actually helping me getting this thing done. And your curiosity and excitement about my projects helps me refuel my own excitement about my project. That being said, if you don't want to get spoilers, just skip this video. But if you do want to follow along every step of the creation of this project, let's look at it. Anytime you get asked how'd you come up with something, it's really hard to explain because it's usually a natural progression, a sequence of events on your life that sparks different ideas, and when the right ones connect, we come up with something. But for this specific one, I was able to backtrack and find most of the influences that led to this design, so I'm looking forward to share that with you. If you can't tell by my accent, I was born and raised in Brazil. And in Brazil, there is no Halloween. Nowadays might be a little bit different, people are starting to celebrate, but growing up I had no Halloween parties ever. And being a fan of horror films and creature design, I always wanted to make this like super scary Halloween costume, but I never really got the chance until I moved to Canada. So in 2011 I made my very first Halloween costume, and it was a zombie mask. I made a cast of my face and my wife's, and I got latex around it, and I painted with an airbrush. So this was the final result. That was my wife's mask. I made both. And I even made like guts hanging out and everything. I was super happy with the results. But I didn't really have where to go with this. We went to some random parties, but turns out Halloween is for kids. And grown-ups don't get really a chance to enjoy. A few years go by. I'm working at Arc Animation now. And I never done a costume again since the zombie one because there was nowhere to go with it. But Arc had this Halloween costume contest every Halloween. And of course, I really wanted to make the best costume. So I'm overthinking and I'm like trying to explore all those ideas and nothing comes to mind. And now I'm a week away from Halloween. I only have 1 weekend to work on this thing. And that's when it clicked. Somehow the image of the no face from Spirited Away kept coming to my mind, even though there were years since I watched it. But what stuck to me more than the original design was the feeling I got when No Face started transforming and actually revealed his real mouth. And having the mouth separate from the mask, it freaked me out a little, right? Like I remember the feeling that I had, so I wanted to incorporate that into a new design. So I'm listening to this podcast while I work, and they mentioned that a lot of farmers were scared of owls because of their silent flights combined with the midnight screams. You would freak them out on the middle of the night. There was a lot of ghost stories involving owls for that reason. And that brought me back to 2016. One of my first jobs was for this guy who loved exotic animals. It was a 3D job, but this guy just loved exotic animals, and one day he shows up with an owl, and the owl was named Mike and was a barn owl. So I knew exactly what the scream was because this guy was always in the office, and that's him on my monitor while I work. So I had a little bit of a relationship with this creature, right? Like I got to the point where I would stay late at work just to play with the owl and help battle train Mike, and it was amazing. And I always loved owls since then. And before I left work, I just got my sketchbook and I sketched whatever I had in mind really quick. And I got on my bike and I just rushed home. And then when I got home, I went looking for my mold making material because I wanted to do a similar process to what I did before. But turns out that thing has a 1-year shelf life and was all spoiled, and I just made a mess with the goo. It didn't dry. So I went to the kitchen and I got aluminum foil and started mashing aluminum foil around my head until I got a rough shape. So with this aluminum foil mask, I started taping around it. I got duct tape first and then actual masking tape around it. So at this stage, I already start cutting eye holes and cutting around the neck. And I even made the separate piece to be the jaw. And because I was using masking tape, that's pretty much made out of paper, I was able to just paper mache on top of this. It actually felt really good with the paper mache because it got hard like wood pretty much. But I couldn't get the details that I wanted. So I went to an art store and I bought paper clay. And with the paper clay, I was able to get the details that I wanted. And there is some actual paper in there for the nose. And the eyes are, I sacrificed an old pair of sunglasses to put the lenses behind the eyes there. And this is how it looked during the process before it was dry. So I was kind of scared. It didn't look good right away. So to go to the rough finish to this, I did a little bit of light sanding. And this was the final result. And if you see those feathers around the face, I actually got like a hole puncher. And I start punching a bunch of holes on a thicker paper. And I glued that around the mask because I thought it needed some feathers. And it kind of worked out. So I liked it so much, I went to the park to take some pictures and maybe traumatize a few kids that were going for a hike. And I found this video of me testing the jaw hinge that was made with like a screw and elastics. And nowadays I just keep this mask as Halloween decoration on the front porch. So when I start thinking about the creature design that I wanted for this story, the image of the one I created for Halloween kept coming back to my mind. And what I liked about this was two things. The reveal of its true form when it opens the mouth, and before that, being something not really scary, being something that has some beauty to it. So the face, the mask has some beauty to it. You're not sure how you feel when you look at it, and then the mouth opens and you're like, okay, that's how I should feel. So I wanted to have that same sentiment on this new design. And one day I'm watching Anthony Jones doing his thing, painting around, and the image of the multiple arms that he was painting kind of felt like it would go together with this design really well, revealing multiple arms with the real mouth and the whole thing. And I, in my mind, what's most appealing about the multiple arms is multiple hands grabbing its victim, right? So that was just something that was on the back of my mind. And I think he posted this video around the time that I was actually trying to design this creature. So I had to rip it off. I didn't really do a lot of design explorations on paper. I did do initial sketch, but the design was so figured out in my head already that I kind of felt like jumping straight to 3D. But one night before I started, I just did another version of the sketch. And as I was doing this, I realized that multiple arms can bring kind of I've seen characters with multiple arms before, but the legs never got to play that game, right? So I was like, okay, let's multiply all the limbs and all the things that come with it. So this is how the muse looks right now, and the creature is gonna be based on her. So I'm gonna start by stealing parts of her. And I'm gonna delete all modifiers, all the outline and everything. Okay, so her file got a lot lighter now, a lot easier to work with. As good as Blender is at sculpting now, I kind of always feel a little bit restrict. I think when I'm in Blender, I'm more on modeling mode than sculpting. So I'm just gonna export this and bring it to Nomad Sculpt and sit on my couch with the iPad and take the idea further. So I did start here. I chopping pieces and replacing and duplicating all that. It's a lot easier in Blender. So at least at this stage. So I'm just gonna export everything, bring to Nomad, and just start playing with it. I really love sculpting nomad, especially the blocking stage, where I can make use of the curve tools and the arrays with curves and independent rotation and radius of that curve, even on array. It's just awesome. I really like it. But when it comes to detailing and subdividing the mesh a little bit more to get that result, I end up going back to ZBrush on the desktop, especially because I'm getting close to exporting to back to Blender, and it just makes the workflow a little bit easier there. And to be honest, it's just what I'm used to, you know, so I just go back to what I'm comfortable at when I'm trying to get things done. For painting, I'm using pretty much the same workflow as I used on this previous video before, and the shader is also available on this video, free for download. But in the case of the creature, there is one major difference. I did bake the lighting as a starting point, but I also baked a cavity map with more detail from the sculpt that was done in ZBrush before exporting. Another thing that I'm doing different here is I have two different textures. One is most of the detail, lighting, and same as I did for the other characters. The other is more like local colors, so it's a little bit of more airbrush style, just darkening the parts that need to be darkened without affecting the cavity map and the details there. And I'm applying that with a multiply node. I wish I had a method to my madness, a structure to apply this type of creativity, but in my case I feel like every single good idea that I have tends to be a mix of my interests and my experiences along the years, and most of them have this long tail of things I tried and I drew on sketchbooks and ideas that I had that never went anywhere, and I try to recycle those and mix with new things that I find until I find a place for it. So it's not really a method to be followed.
Hi, my name is Diogo, and my dad's 3D printing a crafting table over there for me from the Minecraft movie. You're not copying me!